Okay, so you're sniffy, you're sneezing, you got watery eyes, you're itching, everything else. It's the season for pollen and allergies. And many of us are saying, how can I get some relief? So we're bringing in an allergy expert, Dr. Mark Ebadi from Colorado Allergy and Asthma Centers, and he's been in many times before. So let's just talk about right now.
Let's do it.
Is this the worst season ever, as they say?
You want an honest answer?
Yes. Yes.
I don't know. I mean, I think that, the pervasive, wisdom is we say that every year, this is the worst season because you're living in it. But I'm not a climatologist, but I don't know that it's the worst season ever. But certainly our phones are ringing off the hook.
Yeah, and what I'm curious about is my daughter's 7 years old. Never have I seen her have one allergic reaction seasonally. Now all of a sudden she has really bad allergies.
Yeah,
why now?
We start seeing it usually when kids have lived through a few pollen seasons, 3, 4, 5 years old, we'll start to see them become allergic kids if they're genetically predisposed to it. So it's not uncommon to live 7 years of your life with nothing, and then her parents' genetics kicked in.
What? I've never had allergies.
One of her parents is allergic.
I blame the husband.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's his fault.
So what's the best thing to tell them to do? I mean, because you can go into the grocery store or the pharmacy and you'll find all kinds of things to purchase.
This is the bottom line. If you want a bottom line environmental allergies, what I tell patients over and over and over again, and I've told them for 25 years, is most of the drugs that are pills that you take for environmental allergies are woefully ineffective at treating the inflammation that allergies cause, right? So I don't care if we're talking about Zyrtec, Claritin, Allegra, Benadryl, all these medications that patients take over and over again don't really help environmental allergies because they don't treat the inflammation that happens here that causes you to get congested and sneezy and have your eyes be bad. So the nasal steroids, as it were, the Nasacort, Flonase, Nasonex, that class of medications is way more effective than any of the antihistamines. So back in the day, 25 years ago, when Zyrtec cost $300 a month and Flonase cost $300 a month, I would only prescribe the nasal steroids. So I would tell people, if you want to feel better from your allergies, pick a nasal steroid, doesn't matter which one, take it every night before you go to bed, and take it all the way until the freeze, and you will be fine.
Really? So I've been giving my daughter Zyrtec. So strike one for mom over here.
And also, there's a trick to using those. They're not the most pleasant thing. You like holding it sideways or what?
Honestly, it doesn't matter. What I teach people is spray it in your nose, and then the only thing I tell people not to do is sniff it. Because if you sniff it, it pulls it out of your nose and into your throat where it's not helpful. So you can aim it any way you want. Just spray it in there, hold your nose closed for about 10 seconds, and that's it, right? Like that simple thing you do before bed will be way more effective than even the Zyrtec, right? So I teach people that. The Zyrtec's a great Tabasco sauce. It's never the meal. The meal is Flonase, Nasacort, Nasonex. That's it. If everybody did that, my job would be unnecessary.
Okay.
Nobody would never need to see me.
Any side effects if my daughter starts it?
Well, the answer to that question is always yes, right? Like there are side effects for anything that you take, but the side effects are minimal, right? Which is why these medications are now over the counter, as they should be. And the only side effect we ever really see from these medications is maybe dryness, but now most of them are made alcohol-free, so we don't even see that. So really there are not a lot of side effects from them, and they're really helpful.
Kim, you need to switch because you.
I know I need to switch.
Too.
When do you qualify for like allergy shots?
Well,
you're just like so bad, so miserable.
Nope.
Is there a state?
No. I tell people all the time, there are really no allergies that aren't treated successfully by nasal steroids. The only utility of allergy shots is for somebody who's working towards a cure, right? So what I tell patients, they say, are my allergies so bad that I need allergy shots? Nobody's allergies are so bad that they need allergy shots, right? What they need is nasal steroids every day. Allergy shots are like getting LASIK surgery, right? You could, if you had myopia, you could wear contacts every day, or you can get LASIK surgery. And that's how I tell people about shots. If you don't mind taking the nasal steroid every day, you'll be great. If you want more of a cure for your allergies, then absolutely we offer allergy shots towards that end.
That makes sense. So it's Food Allergy Awareness Week.
Okay.
What is some advice that you could give? How do we know that we have food allergies?
You know, yeah. If
you would know.
Yeah.
I guess
Rico knows.
Yes, that's a good point.
Here's what I tell people, because people come to me every day and they want food allergy testing, and I say, if you eat a food that you're allergic to, nobody in the room has to guess whether or not you've done that, right? Because usually you're covered in hives, you're wheezing, you're having trouble breathing, your blood pressure is dropping, your airway's closing. It's not a subtle thing, right? A waitress will be pointing at you saying, should I call somebody? It's not a subtle thing like abdominal pain or aches or things like that, or rashes. When people have a food allergy, it's usually a pretty emphatic and dramatic reaction that they have within minutes of eating the food, like Mike Tirico.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
We have more to discuss later.
I know, part two.
Part
please.
two. Thank you, Dr. Ebadi. I do like Tabasco. I'm just going to make it clear, but I just maybe need to work on
But it's not the meal.
It's not the
It's
meal.
not the meal.
No.
Not the meal. Thank you so much, Dr. Mark Ebadi.